Well, it's that time of the year again, the time when we're forced to look back over the past 365 days to evaluate whether or not what we've been doing for the past year has actually been working for us. I began this artistic journey about 3 years ago, and let me tell you, it's been one hell of a ride. If you've been around my channel for any length of time, you're probably aware of the fact that I love the art of cartooning, and it's always been my dream ever since I was a child to one day be able to make a living doing it. Now, I've been putting that dream aside for the better part of 40 years, and about 3 years ago, life dealt me a hand that at the time I thought was really crappy. But as it turned out, that crappy hand ended up opening a door for me that gave me the opportunity to try and make my lifelong dream come true. So for the past 3 years, I've been on this artistic journey trying to figure out how to make a living as a cartoon illustrator. The plan from the beginning was always to self-publish my own illustrative works by way of children's activity books and storybooks. But somewhere along the way, I also decided to chronicle my journey as a way to try and help other artists achieve the same goal. So I decided to throw YouTube into the mix. Looking back, I honestly don't think I was ready for what YouTube was about to ask of me. Creating tutorial videos turned out to be a lot harder than I thought it would be. So as I came to the end of my 3rd year on YouTube, I had to ask myself, is it worth it? And the answer to that question is, it depends. Hey guys, Craig here. Hope everybody's doing well. Okay, so to further elaborate on my question as to whether or not YouTube is worth doing, depends on 2 things. The first is the reason why you're doing it, and the second is how you're doing it. So let's start off with the reason why you're doing it. If you want to start a YouTube channel for a quick rise to fame and fortune, good luck with that. Let me just run this statistic by you. There are currently around 114 million active channels on YouTube today. Of those 114 million, 86 million have less than 100 subscribers. Of the remaining 28 million, only 10 million have more than 1,000 subscribers, only 2 million have more than 10,000 subscribers, and only 350,000 have more than 100,000 subscribers, while only 40,000 channels have more than 1 million subscribers. And I bet if you were to delve a little deeper into those statistics, you'd be very hard-pressed to find anyone who was either rich or famous whose channel had less than 1 million subscribers. And just for clarification, by rich, I mean that their channel is making over $1 million per year, and by famous, I mean that they're unable to walk down the street without being recognized. Now don't get me wrong, I'm sure that there are a few YouTubers out there who are making over $1 million a year on their channel and who are famous that have less than 1 million subscribers, but I truly believe that those creators are few and far between. And also keep in mind that how many subscribers you have on your channel doesn't determine how much money your channel will make. It's how many views your channel gets per month that determines that. That being said, there does seem to be a correlation between the number of subscribers a channel has and the number of views it gets. Very rarely do you see a channel with only 45 subscribers getting millions of views every month. And another thing to point out is that of all those content creators who are making over $1 million per year, I think that you would also find that the vast majority of them have been creating content on YouTube for over 10 years. So it certainly wasn't a get-rich-quick story. The point I'm trying to make is that if the only reason you're creating a YouTube channel is to get rich and famous, the odds are not going to be in your favor. And if after a year or two of busting your butt you aren't seeing the success you're looking for, there's a pretty good chance that you'll probably just pack it in and call it quits. The only thing that's going to keep you moving forward in this endeavor is if you're seeing some sort of progress. When your only goal is to get rich and famous, you're setting an extremely high benchmark for yourself that's going to be really hard to hit. You see, there's really only one reason to create a YouTube channel, and that's because you're passionate about a particular topic and you want to share that with other people. So much so that you'd still be willing to continue sharing your passion even if there wasn't money or fame attached to it. Because if that's the reason you're starting your channel, then you're going to be hitting milestones and seeing progress with every video view, like, and comment that you get on your channel. If your only goal is to share your passion with others, and you see that people are engaging with your content, then you're going to feel like you're successful, and that alone should keep you motivated to carry on. Now don't get me wrong, it's okay to want to be rewarded financially for your efforts, and I truly believe that if you're persistent as well as patient on YouTube, you will be rewarded eventually. Just as long as you structure your channel in a way that incorporates additional income streams by way of affiliations, sponsorships, products and/or services that you promote through your channel, you should be able to, at the very least, supplement your income quite nicely each month with no more than just a few thousand subscribers. But you're going to need to treat that income as icing on the cake, at least for the first few years. Once your channel starts getting millions of views every month, then you can start thinking about YouTube as your primary income. And due to those millions of monthly views, you'll also have the fame that you're seeking, at least to some extent. But none of this can even happen if you don't stick with it, so your reason for doing YouTube better be something that you're passionate about. Okay, so now that we've established why you're doing it, the next variable that determines whether or not YouTube is worth doing is how you're doing it. Now there are basically two approaches when it comes to creating a YouTube channel. The first is to treat your channel like an ongoing television series, which basically means that you're uploading new videos on a fairly consistent schedule and that you're uploading quite often to maintain the momentum of your growth. And by quite often, I mean at least once a week. Now the second approach is to treat your YouTube channel like a library of content. With this approach, there are no preset schedules to stick to, and as for how often you upload, well, that's up to you. But the important thing to remember here is that the results you'll get from each of these approaches will vary dramatically. Although both approaches can eventually get you to your desired goal, the journey and the time it'll take to get there will be vastly different with each approach. So let's start off by talking about the first approach. This approach is what I think most people envision when they think of making a living as a YouTuber, and that is to just treat your YouTube channel like a full-time business. One of the pros of doing it this way is that if you do achieve success, you're going to see it a lot quicker than you would with the second approach. That being said, one of the cons of this approach is that it's going to require a lot more of your time and effort. Now, as your channel grows and you begin to see more success, both personally and financially, you may be in a position where you'll now be able to afford to hire some people to help you with the daily operations of your YouTube channel. Doing this will obviously free up some of your time, but keep in mind that when your livelihood, as well as the livelihoods of the people you hire, now rely on the success of your channel, that's going to add another level of stress to your day-to-day life. So although the road to success with this first approach may be shorter, it's definitely not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. I personally believe that you have to be a certain type of personality to be able to maintain this level of grind on a daily basis without burning out. Especially in the beginning when you may also be working a full-time job while doing all of this on your own. It's definitely not for everyone. And I think this is one of the main reasons why so many people put off creating a YouTube channel. It's because they think that this approach is the only way to do YouTube. But nothing could be further from the truth. And this brings us to our second approach. Now with the second approach, you're going to treat your YouTube channel as a library of content as opposed to a scheduled ongoing series. And just know that it really doesn't matter what type of content you have in your library. The important thing is just to keep adding to your library over time. One of the pros of this approach is that you can do this in your free time, and because you don't have any deadlines to meet, your stress level will be dramatically reduced. The cons of this approach are that due to the reduced amount of content that you're uploading on a regular basis, your growth as it pertains to subscribers, views, and monetary gain is going to be much slower than it would be with the first approach. But if the reason why you're creating your YouTube channel is just so that you can share your passion with others, then none of this should really matter to you. Now, I want to be perfectly clear here. I'm not saying that if you use this second approach that you'll never be able to make any money off of your YouTube channel. Just doing this part-time, you can get to a point where you'll be able to supplement your monthly income quite substantially, even within the first year of your channel. It really depends on the type of content that you're creating, as well as what other income streams you have tied to your channel in the form of affiliations, sponsorships, and products. It's just that you won't be living entirely off your YouTube channel anytime soon, and you need to be okay with that. Building your YouTube channel this way will allow you to keep your full-time job without burning out due to all the extra stress. When I started my channel 3 years ago, it was always meant to be a part-time endeavor. I never had any intention of making it a full-time gig, and I still don't. I want this to be something that I can do well into my retirement. I just need to make enough money so that I can supplement my monthly illustration income to the point where I don't need to worry about money issues. And after just 3 years of doing this, my channel is almost there. On a bad month, my channel brings in anywhere from $600 to $800. But on a good month, my YouTube income combined with my other income streams can reach upwards of $2,000. Now yes, I wish that my bad months were around $4,000 and my good months were around $8,000. And I'm sure that if I continue doing what I'm doing, maybe one day they will be. But I'm perfectly fine waiting for that day to come, just as long as I don't have to stress out running this channel. And that's why I've chosen to use this second approach to build my YouTube channel. But this wasn't always the case. As I just said, this YouTube channel was always meant to be a part-time project. My goal for this channel was to show artists how to turn their drawing hobbies into passive income. And I was going to do that by using income streams like self-publishing, YouTube, and commercial licensing. But I wanted my channel to be about more than just making money. I wanted it to be a place where new artists could not only learn how to draw, but where they could also be inspired and motivated through design tutorials, speed drawing podcasts, as well as art book reviews. So although my target audience were going to be one specific group of people, new illustrators, the content on my channel would appeal to a much wider audience, which would probably include people who had no interest in illustration at all. You don't have to be an artist to succeed in self-publishing, or to create a YouTube channel for that matter. So creating content for multiple niches was going to open up my channel to a much broader range of people. And this is where the problem began. You see, in the beginning, I focused on creating a new video for each of my 5 different niches on kind of a cycle. So I would never create 2 videos for the same niche, one after the other. Doing this made the initial growth of my channel kind of slow. It felt like I was starting 5 different YouTube channels all at one time. I did this because I truly believed that the information that each of these individual niches provided would be crucial for the success of someone from my target audience. But for some reason, my self-publishing videos always outperformed all of my other videos from my other niches. It's probably because self-publishing was a more popular niche at the time. And because of that, a large portion of the audience that I was bringing in weren't actually part of my channel's target audience. They were people who were only interested in my self-publishing content. So as a result, my self-publishing videos blew up and were doing great, while the videos from all of my other niches were struggling just to get off the ground. In fact, I think it was about 7 months after creating my Getting Started on YouTube playlist that any of those videos even broke the 100 view mark. While in the meantime, my self-publishing videos were getting tens of thousands of views. And that's where I fell into the YouTube trap. I stopped creating content that I was passionate about and that I wanted to share with other people, and started creating content that I knew would get me more views and make me more money, which at that time was everything self-publishing. Now don't get me wrong, I love self-publishing. I just like the part of it that pertains to illustration-related books, like children's activity books and storybooks. I could really care less about fitness journals and daytimers. My channel was meant to showcase my passion for cartoon illustration. But at one point, I was so focused on chasing the views on my YouTube channel that I went over 3 months without ever drawing a single thing. And that's because I had changed my reason why I was creating this channel. I pushed my dream of making a living illustrating cartoons to the back burner one more time and focused purely on getting views and making money. And even though I only did that for about 6 months, by the end of that period, I was already feeling the burnout. I wasn't talking about something that I was passionate about anymore. I was talking about subjects that I knew would make me money. I just assumed that because all of my non-self-publishing related videos weren't doing as well, that the only way my channel could possibly succeed is if I focused purely on self-publishing. But you see, one of the things that I didn't realize is that when you create a new playlist that contains content for a different niche, initially, YouTube is just going to recommend those videos to whomever your current audience is. Now, since the majority of my audience at that time were people only interested in self-publishing, they weren't clicking on my videos that were about the business of YouTube or how to draw or art book reviews for that matter. So the YouTube algorithm would see that none of my returning audience were watching those videos and just assume that the videos must not be very good. So it just stopped recommending them altogether instead of actually trying to find the audience that would be interested in those videos. All of the videos from my other niches would initially get around 50 to 60 views in the first 24 hours, and then they would just plateau. And 99% of those views were coming from my return viewers, not new viewers. Any growth that those videos would eventually get would come from search, not YouTube recommendations. So when you start a new playlist that contains content for a different niche, even though that content may appeal to your target audience, there's no guarantee that the people who are currently watching all of your videos are actually part of your target audience. This is why every new niche playlist you start feels like you're starting a brand new YouTube channel. It doesn't matter if you already have thousands of subscribers and hundreds of thousands of views on your other videos. These new videos are going to have to be discovered and searched to get views. The YouTube algorithm is not going to help you here. At least not until enough of the right people start watching those videos so that the algorithm can figure out who it should actually be recommending those videos to, but that can take some time. Now that being said, if you're persistent and patient with those other niches, just know that your videos will eventually find their audience. Pretty much all of my non-self-publishing videos struggled for a long time just to break the 100 view mark, but today, many of those videos have started surpassing the 1,000 view mark. So just because some of your videos don't do well in the beginning, doesn't mean that they won't take off sometime in the future. And when I recently launched my new playlist Draw With Me, I thought for sure that those videos would be starting at the 100 view mark as well. But to my surprise, all of them have surpassed the 500 view mark right out of the gate, which means that I'm beginning to attract my target audience to my channel. And this is why I decided that it was time to refocus my attention back to my original goal and stop chasing the views. Now yes, as a result of this pivot, the overall views on my channel have dropped a bit. And that's just because I'm not creating as much self-publishing content anymore. But for the first time in a long time, I'm actually enjoying creating content again. And more importantly, my dream of making a living illustrating cartoons is back on the table. Now you may be thinking, yeah, but with less views comes less money, so you're not going to achieve your monthly monetary goals. But that's not necessarily true. Let me explain. Now I launched my channel at the beginning of 2021, and as I said earlier, at that time I was creating videos for 5 different playlists: Self-Publishing 101, Getting Started on YouTube, Drawing and Design Tutorials, Art Book Reviews, and my Doodle Podcast playlist. So I was just kind of cycling through those playlists, making sure to upload one video for each playlist per cycle. And for the most part, the only videos that were really getting any traction were my self-publishing videos. So when I would upload a self-publishing related video, I would get a little spike in views that would last a few days. But as I began uploading videos for my less popular niches over the following weeks, my daily view counts would return back to my baseline, which at that time were around 200 to 300 views per day on my channel. Now the reason the view counts would come right back down after I uploaded a self-publishing video is because I didn't have a very large back catalog of content that pertained to that topic yet. You see, when you have a lot of videos on your channel that are about the same topic, when a new viewer watches one of your videos, YouTube will recommend some of your older videos that are about that same topic to that new viewer, which generates more views for your channel and starts to create a little bit of momentum. But if you don't have a lot of other videos on your channel about that topic, then there's nothing else for your new viewers to watch. So your view counts will just start to drop as those viewers leave your channel. So there was no way to keep the momentum going unless I was uploading new videos each week on that same topic, and I wasn't doing that. If the topic that you're creating your YouTube channel around doesn't require you to create content from multiple niches, then these dips in views should be a lot less frequent, even if you're just uploading once a month. But with my channel, I needed to show all aspects of making a living as an illustrator, so the multiple niches were necessary. The point with this approach when it comes to running your YouTube channel is just to make sure that every video you upload to your YouTube library is adding value for your target audience. If you're doing that, then it won't matter how often you're posting, just as long as you're continually adding value to your channel. As I came to the end of 2022 and headed into 2023, I was slowly starting to fill up my Self-Publishing 101 playlist with more videos. All of my other playlists were still struggling to get off the ground because YouTube hadn't started recommending any of those videos yet. So the vast majority of the views on my channel were coming from that one self-publishing playlist, and every time I would upload a new video on the topic, I would get a small spike in views, followed by a drop a day or two later. But with every consecutive video, that drop would be less and less, and my baseline for my channel views would rise higher and higher. What started out as a 300 view per day channel baseline would rise to 400 views and then 500 views. And this continued on for the first few months of 2023. Then, in April of 2023, I would upload what will become my best performing video on my channel, 3 Proven Methods for Making Money with KDP. This video blew up in just a matter of days. But something different happened with this video. It didn't just drop back down to a marginally higher baseline after a few days. This video created a tsunami of views that would last for over 3 months. You see, by this time, I had a back catalog of over 18 videos in that self-publishing playlist. And since I always directed my viewers at the end of my videos to whatever playlist that they were currently watching a video from, that video just created a huge wave of additional views on my older videos. If I go through the analytics on my Self-Publishing 101 playlist, you can see that the 3 Proven Methods video was uploaded on April 16th of 2023. And if I go back and check all of my older self-publishing videos, you can also see that each one of them had an extreme boost in views right around that same time period. And we're not talking about a small boost here, we're talking about thousands and thousands of views on each video. So even though this 3 Proven Methods video only did around 50,000 views in that 3-month period, it actually brought in around 150,000 views to my channel during that same time. And it also brought in thousands of dollars in additional ad revenue as well. So the point I'm trying to make here is that your channel is always just one video away from blowing up, and it doesn't matter whether you're uploading daily, weekly, or monthly, because in the end, what's going to cause that wave of views is going to be one single video and the fact that you have a huge back catalog of older videos that deal with that same topic in your channel library. So if you're uploading daily, then you're going to fill up that back catalog much quicker than if you were uploading monthly. But just because you're uploading monthly doesn't mean that you'll never see those kinds of boosts. It just means that you're going to have to be patient and wait until you have a big enough back catalog before you see them. And keep in mind, just because you're treating your YouTube channel like a library of content right now, doesn't mean that you can't switch your approach 5 years from now and start running it like an ongoing series. Once you get that back catalog in place and start to see those waves of views coming in, you may want to go full time on YouTube to try and keep the momentum going on a more continuous basis. And by then, you may even be in a place financially where you can afford to quit your job to do that. So as for the question, is YouTube worth the effort? The answer is, if the reason you're doing it is because you have something that you're passionate about that you want to share with others, and you're running your YouTube channel in a manner that fits into your current lifestyle and isn't causing you any additional stress, as long as you're willing to be patient and persistent until you reach your desired financial goals, then yes, YouTube is definitely worth the effort. But remember, regardless of why you're creating your YouTube channel or of which approach you're using to build it, YouTube is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a long game, and it takes time to succeed. So the sooner you get started, the sooner you'll reach your desired goals. Okay, so hopefully this video has motivated or inspired you to take the leap and start your own YouTube journey in 2024. Now, if you'd like more information about how to start your own YouTube channel, then check out my playlist, Getting Started on YouTube. It has everything you'll need to get your channel up and running this year. And you can find a link to it right here. Until next time, take care.